bringing people into theaters, man. More power to them.
Well, and that's how everything used to be. You'd be in the theaters as long as you're selling tickets, and then you'd be gone, and then do the second run movie theater
Back,
houses, for the
back
dollar
for
dollar theater, and
yeah,
then you do prime cable, subscription cable like HBO, Showtime,
HBO. Yeah,
Cinemax, and then you do basic cable like TNT and TPS, and then you do network television, the ABC Sunday Night at the Movies, and then home video. And this whole streaming crap takes out 5 out of 7 revenue streams for these people, and I still cannot fathom how in the world they thought they were going to make money doing this.
they got the same mentality that Hasbro executives have. The future's digital. Everything's digital,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know, I'm overly connected as it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, but you got physical media coming back. You got record vinyl albums are back, cassettes
Yeah.
are back. They're slowly bringing back the DVDs, VHSs are there. Books are coming back. I mean, Barnes and Noble are opening up more stores. We just got a store in Brooklyn dedicated 100% horror called the Twisted
Oh,
Spine.
nice. Well,
The whole bookstore with just horror.
it's funny. There was a thread on Twitter earlier today that I responded to. They were talking about the aesthetic of movies in the '80s, science fiction movies in the '80s, like Aliens, and all of these, Blade Runner, all these movies that had all of the tchotchkes decorating all of their computer consoles, right? All these buttons and switches and screens and all this other stuff. And somebody called it what was it? Let me look. Cassette aesthetic. Hold on, because it perfectly encapsulates that particular era. Cassette futurism is what this guy called it. And they were talking about how all of these movies in the 80s predicted this future aesthetic for all of this technology that we don't have now, because everything's touchscreens, right? Everything's like iPads and interactive, swipe and this and touch this and whatever, and all of the buttons are gone. We look at all of our laptops, right? All the ports are missing. There aren't any video ports, there aren't any USB ports or HDMI ports or any of that stuff. It's all gone. And people are like, well, in some other timeline, the future tech looks like this. And I thought, you have now a reversion back to like what you're talking about. Cassettes are coming back, vinyl's coming back, VHS and DVDs coming back. People are reading books. I would not be surprised if in the next 5 years, CRT screens come back. Just because of the
Nostalgia.
the nostalgia aesthetic of it. And
I
I could
don't.
really
I
see
don't
if you
think
go
so.
into you go into the era of Blade Runner and Aliens. I don't see why you wouldn't have technology that does that. I mean, somebody pointed out in that discussion thread, even now, places like NASA, SpaceX, you have some touchscreen stuff, but in aviation and in space flight, you still have buttons and switches, because you got to be able to feel the position of the button to know that it's in the right place. And you can't do that with a touch screen. So I think that the nostalgia factor is one thing, but the practicality of it, I think, also factors into it. And I think we're going to get some of this old technology coming back, especially as the younger generation grows up and finally realizes that social media and all of this digital crap is not worth a darn.
Well,
I would disagree. I think
You always do.
it's the difference between digital and analog, and there'll always be a place for analog because of the touch and the feel that you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm
And
saying that the analog is going to have a bigger place as we get further out from AI and what digital looks like now.
I think you'll see maybe bigger than now, but not as big as it was before. It'll be a hybrid of that. And I disagree that, I mean, I don't think books ever went away, but I don't think, I mean, vinyl cassettes, those things are only coming back as niche nostalgia collector's item things. Like people collect old telephones or typewriters or something like that, right? And that's the same with vinyl. You know, there'll always be somebody who's collecting it, but it's not going to come back. You know, it'll be a cool thing that, hey, look at this. It won't.
Well, with all the Barnes and Nobles that shut down, now they're turning around and rebuilding them differently. Now that they're coming back, they're designing them according to geographic zone.
They're basically
what's
putting
popular in
they're
that
basically
neighborhood.
putting the local managers in charge of saying this is your local bookstore now, essentially.
Yeah.
So they're not looking on a nationwide market market trend or anything like that. They're customizing, I guess you could say. They're tailoring the product for that particular area, which I think is a brilliant way to do it.
Wasn't there a scandal with the New York Times bestseller list?
Oh,
where there was a bunch of AI generated titles that were on.
Well, there was that, but there's also been several instances, and I want to say that some of this maybe came out in a lawsuit or something. No, Random House. Okay, so it was a court case. They were deciding whether or not to allow Random House to purchase another imprint, I think is what it was. And somewhere in that discussion, it became known that a lot of the books on the bestseller list, a lot of the books on the New York Times bestseller list had only sold somewhere between 12 and 30 copies. So it wasn't really a bestseller based on sales. It was a bestseller because the New York Times said it was. And that's the mask coming off of that. And of course, Larry Carrillo is like, see, I told you. Because Larry's been saying that the New York Times bestseller list has been rigged. A scam for years.
Yeah.
It's not so much that it's rigged, but it's another marketing thing. It's another advertising thing. It has no real meaning, no real value outside of we're gonna present these books as more popular than any other books because we say so.
Isn't that payola basically?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what they tried to do in the 50s, right, with music.
I don't know that they're paying for the position on the New York Times bestseller list. I don't know. I don't know what the criteria was when that came out, but
depends on what you consider payment. You know,
it's like with Gamergate.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, but in that case, they were sleeping with.
Some of them were, but some of them had invested in the Kickstarters, for example, the crowdfunding, and didn't disclose that. So it wasn't always the sexual relationships. In some cases, it was a financial one.
Yeah.
All you got to do is with the bookstores. You come to New York, you hit the Strand bookstore. Well, you used to hit the Shakespeare bookstore because the Shakespeare bookstore went out of business now, got absorbed by Strand. But you went to all these little bookstores throughout the city. You see what the customers are buying, and it's nothing than what the New York what's on the front page of the New York Times.
Yeah, it's just a marketing ploy. Oh, look, New York Times bestseller.
It's you only need to sell five.
Not everybody was
5,000
buying Tom Clancy's novel
to get on the New York Times bestsellers list, right? Like
Is that
that's nothing.
That's what it costs.
No, 5,000 books you have to sell to be a New York Times bestseller.
Oh, okay.
Like officially, like it's just 5,000. That's
That's 5,000. That's like that's an hour at Strand.
Nothing, man.
Like, Strand is like what if you don't know Strand in New York City. Strand is a great bookstore. They've been having their troubles, financially and all that, but they're still here. And what's great about them is that they got everything, and also outside the store they have like shelving put up with all these books that are just like nickel and dime, dollar. They cost next to nothing, and people buy them up. And it's not like El Cheapo books or something like that, or stuff that's like some of them are out of print or something like that. But there's some good books, and people will stand online to get them.
I would.
Inside inside the store, they got a great collection,
Bulk
several floor levels.
purchases. That's one of the ways they're manipulating it. Because yes, you're right. 5,000, although 10,000 is better, so people are buying 10,000 books. Or if you're a politician and had a autobiography or a memoirs ghostwritten, because most of them couldn't write to save their soul. Um,
Good
then
writing is not going to save their souls.
well, that's true. But then somebody like China or uh, you know, uh, somebody someplace in Europe or who knows where.
Yeah, you got to say it right. China.
China,
China.
China. Yeah.
China.
And then you have all these novels that are getting reinterpretations on there because they made TV series out of them, like specifically
Yeah.
Stephen King. So they had the It series that's in the second chapter right now on HBO. You can guarantee that's going to be a book by the time
Oh,
that
the Welcome to
finishes.
Derry.
Welcome to Derry, which it's been okay, a little gruesome for
Yeah.
HBO. It's almost that terrifier level.
I saw a thing earlier. Let's see if I can find it real quick. It was a statistic that horror books are selling really, really, really well. Let me see if I can find it here.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, why do you think we have a bookstore in Brooklyn?
I wonder why that would be.
My wife is dying to go because it's like it's in Williamsburg, and it's a beautiful little shop. It's basically I think what book was it was glowing? Was it The Shining? They got like I think was it the Shining book, and it glows in the dark.
Fine. Yeah, here we go. All right. So this is bookseller.com. Let me share this screen with y'all here. All right, horror sales climbing toward a record year. This is Nielsen IQ book data. Horror subcategory recorded its best year to date. Now, this is in the UK, but I think it would apply in the United States as well. So,
So
2024.
why would that be?
I don't know. Nielsen IQ.
horror,
Well, I mean, horror in the movies has been doing pretty well too.
It's true.
And
Well, I
I
mean,
think that could be reflective of the times that we're in because, certain genres swing in popularity depending on what's happening in the real world. So
that might be
there
it.
could be a correlation there. So, but yeah,
And there's been a heavy remastering of the older classics.
right.
Dawn of the Dead,
Yep.
Day of the Dead.
So 2024 to 2025 so far, rise of 22.2%. Let's see. Some of that value is that rise in value is due to an increase in the average selling price of the category. So there's that. Volume figures reveal some increase in popularity. 2024's total figure of 836,199 was its biggest volume performance since 2009. So in 15 years, the best performance. So says here, if the rate continues, the category will fall just short of 900,000 units in 2025. That's in the UK again. But I think that there might be some correlation over here. But here's the list. Stephen King, Never Flinch is the first one. The Shining at number 4. Dracula at number 6. Look at that. The Woman in Black, Frankenstein, It, Pet Cemetery. All of these are old. Here's Graveyard Shift, The Stand, Interview with a Vampire, Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, The Exorcist.
Wow.
All of these are selling again. Look at that. Here's another Dracula, Hell House, Blackwater, The Green Mile, The Night House, The Running Man.
Well,
The Running
there's a
Man's going to
reason
be
why
because of
that's coming
money.
out.
Yeah, because of the movie. World War Z.
That's not new. I mean, that's not old.
Well, no, not well.
It's
World War
fair,
Z's been around.
Yeah, but
good
a lot of
chunk.
these are are books that have been published for years.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily
I
classics,
mean,
but
World War Z came out around 2000 or something like that.
yeah. But I was saying is a lot of these. There's The Mist, The Witching Hour. That's interesting. That
I
that
mean,
a lot of those
when
stories
you
have been around for a long time.
how are the I wonder how the mystery books and like Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that. I've been thinking about getting a set of the Sherlock Holmes, and I mean, what did I pick up? I picked up Lovecraft,
Yeah,
the complete works.
Yeah,
of
you got the same book.
Yeah. So
I have a good collection. I got a good collection of the Lovecraft.
and they have a new of course, and I got that at the same time I got the or right around the same time, like different vendor. One I got off of Amazon, and the other one I got at a local bookstore.
I mean, you have what is it? You got the Frankenstein coming out on Netflix, the Guillermo del Toro, and that's probably going to push more of the books out that way. And then you have what is it the one of the other books from Interview with the Vampire that's also coming out to I think to AMC. To that point, I mean, my wife. That's all my wife does. She reads a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back into reading.
I just bought what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 5 shelving units now, and I'm probably going into the 6th. I mean, I haven't even installed the one that's supposed to go behind me yet. You know, it's just. But yeah, no, I love a good book tale. But while he's looking for that, what did I have up here? Hold on 1 second. Let me just.
Yeah, here's mine.
Oh, hang on. Let me bring you forward. Hold on.
Necronomicon.
Yeah.
The best weird tales of H.P. Lovecraft.
Now I think
This has got some good stuff in it.
I mean that's I'm going to guess that it's got most of the stuff that I don't think there's probably anything in that the book I got doesn't have.
Probably not.
Because this one's called The Complete Works. You know.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, you and me got the complete works.
And it was only $18 at a local bookstore, and I'm like, well, hell, that's reasonable.
You know, the other place where you can get stuff for fairly inexpensive amounts of money is library sales. When they go to clear their shelves and they go sell off some of the older stuff that hasn't been circulating that much.
Yeah.
That's what my wife does.
There's a used bookstore chain that has a store in Knoxville and one in Chattanooga. I haven't been to the one in Chattanooga, but I've heard they're a little more reasonable there on their prices. But some of their stuff they're really proud of, especially like their D&D books. They're charging like $50 for D&D books that are probably not worth it.